going to cover the rotary roller, and there's a few issues to get around with this. As you can see, I've had various attempts to get this working and actually it wouldn't work at all. It was scanning. If you press the red mark, it would scan out the full word, which clearly isn't right. It's supposed to just scan one letter, and when you actually go to mark it, it will scan, you know, mark the letter, move it, mark, move, mark, and so on until you get the proper words out. So it just wouldn't do it at all. Now the only way around that was to, as I've showed in a previous video, I had to delete all of the settings in this BSLAppSimple. I'll probably show where that is again, but if you go into the folder, the BSLAppSimple folder, you'll see a config file, and you need to delete all of the files in there, including the files in the autosave folder, which is within that config folder. And then you've got to reboot the app, and you'll know it's cleared and back to default when all of the menu is in Chinese. And once it's back in Chinese, you just go to settings and then down to the bottom. Don't forget this will all be in Chinese, but you can easily see the settings gear, the bottom one, and then this might be in Chinese, but you will see the English. That is how the menu appears, so you'll be able to clearly see English. Excuse me. So once you've selected English, you'll just click on OK, and then you just close the program down and then restart it, and you'll find this is back in English. Now at that point, hopefully this rotary roller is going to work. Now I'll show you the problems I've run into. We have obviously had that bit there was when it was trying to scan out the full image without actually turning the roller. Then we've had problems with it engraving it backwards. The upside down ones aren't upside down, it's because I've spun the, the bottle around. And then we got a nice one there through, we took the paint off completely and it's through to the stainless steel. That one was done correctly. But yeah, it has been printing backwards and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So we're just going to cover, I'm just going to get that in a rough position. It's about right there. We've got it focused. A little tip with focusing here, if you just cover up the red light from the main laser, you'll be able to see the other one, and then just move your finger gently and bring in the other laser, and you'll be able to see whether they're actually on top of each other. This one's very, very slightly out. In fact, they don't go over the top of each other on this one. But you see what I mean? I don't know whether that's focused on there or not. Probably not actually, is it? Let's do it over some text that it can focus on. So yeah, cover the main laser and just bring in the other one. It's a little bit more accurate than just being dazzled by the brightness of the main laser there. So that's in the right place. Now, as far as creating the text is concerned, you just literally create the text that you want, and you use the control and left and right. I'll just see if I can set the camera down. I don't think I can do. Let me see. And if you press control and left and right, it will actually spin the text around for you. And so that's horizontal, and if you press it a few times you'll get it into the ideal position. Now for some reason the video that I've seen on this procedure is setting this figure at -6 and then sizes of 5, and I'll just click on apply, or application as they call it, and that will just adjust that very slightly. You can centre it up and down, but this is the position it needs to be in. At that point you've got to go into this H option, and these are the options that need to be enabled. If you watch, if I select a different fill, some of the options will change. What you don't want ticked is this object overall calculation, I think that probably means. So undo that if it's there, and that is how it should look. And then click OK. Now if you go up the top to movement axis, we're doing the rotating text mark. There's a few things here you need to adjust. So first of all, you need to make sure that the axis you're working on is the y-axis. This is there's no choice. This is where you enter the diameter of the workpiece. In my case it's 70mm diameter. The movement, this was already on I think 5 for me, but I've copied the same figure that was in the example video and I've left it at 20. So that is that. Now you've now got to go into config. Now here you need to tick normally these buttons. You've got to make sure that that is at 6400, this is at 6400, and this one is at 6400. You need to change the reduction ratio to 5 and make sure that box enable reduction ratio is ticked. Everything else is okay. Now this is where I came unstuck. When I was doing this before, I would hit the red button and it would be scanning the whole set of letters. This time you can see it was just on that R. Now I think this is going to print backwards, so I might in a moment show you that, and then I'm going to click on the config and turn the reversal thing off to see if that is where the issue arises. But there you can see a very nice crisp R. I don't know whether you can on the camera, but so now we're going to go back to here and press stop, and I'm going to film it marking it and you'll see what happens. Now you see that's backwards. That's a real pain in the arse if you were just doing a 10 quid flask like this. So now I'm just going to move it up a fraction. I'm going to go back into... Oh no, there's another issue here. I don't know whether you can see this on camera. See where that dot is now? It's nowhere near the actual main dot. Now, initially I thought, well, this is a height issue, but how could it have changed? Nothing's changed. What it actually is, it's an error inside the laser. And if we go back to hit the red mark button, there, I'm going to hit the red mark button, and then I'm going to hit stop. Oops, okay. So hit red, so it's marking it, and then press stop. And you'll see that the red lights, the red pointers converge again. So don't make the mistake of thinking that that is suddenly out of focus, because that would be impossible. So it's just some issue either with the software or the hardware, or perhaps a combination. So we're in the right place again. I'm going to go back into config, and I'm going to turn that reversal off, and I'm going to see if that solves the problem or not. Well, hopefully it will do. Sorry, it's just up here, reversal. So I'm going to hit OK. We'll come back over to the workpiece, and I'm going to hit mark, see if it makes a difference. Full focus. Yeah, you see that is now printing it the correct way. Now how their example video printed it correctly with the reversal button ticked and the text facing the same way as I've actually got it on screen, I've absolutely no idea. Now you can see we've taken the paint off completely. Let me have a closer look. Get the light on it. Yeah, so the paint's off completely. We're through to the stainless steel, and you know, that would be it. Now the settings I used for that is maximum power and speed 140, but this is just a a flask, stainless steel flask from Sass & Bell, so it's painted on stainless steel, but absolutely fine. So yeah, there we go. Actually, I just realised that isn't back to front, is it? The letters are the correct way round. It is just going from the wrong direction. If it was truly back to front, the letters would of course be facing the wrong way. So it does seem that that reversal button in the config bit matters. I suppose if you had the yeah, maybe if I spun the rollers around, that would also change it. I'll have to think about that for a second. But look, that's how to do that. The other thing is, if you now want to end that and go back to normal, and you hit drop out, which is quit, it won't do it, and it comes up with this funny message. You've got to go back into config and just make sure the reversal and the enable limit boxes are no longer ticked, and then hit OK and then drop out. So yeah, I think that probably covers it. The other thing I also missed, if you do have to start from scratch like I did, because it just wouldn't work, it was just scanning out that whole word, or the whole all of the words, you're going to find that the use default configs is ticked over here as well. So just untick that, and then you'll be able to adjust your speed and power and everything. I'm going to try to adjust the speed at some point, see if it makes any difference whatsoever. My understanding is that it doesn't, and also the frequency. So we'll have a play around with that at some point. So I suppose we could just do one last test and see if we can do a little box perhaps around the gift parlour words. So let's just add a box and come out of that. So we're going to go back down to, what did I say it was? I think it was it 140? I'll have to play the video back myself. I think it was 140. So we're going to do 140, this time we're going to have a box around it, and we're just going to make sure that that is okay. Everything seems to like to be selected here before you go into the movement axis. So rotating text, that's all good. Y, workpiece diameter, config, enable limit, reduction, all these are correct. And we're going to go OK, and we're going to hit red. Oh, that would help if we actually had the workpiece in there. So we're just going to put the workpiece in there. Hopefully you can see that. Make sure it's in focus. Yeah, looks pretty good. And we're just going to put see if that box comes. The box comes out. I don't think it will. I think this can only print text, but let's see. Okay, so it has attempted the box, but it's done it afterwards. So yeah, clearly that is, of no use whatsoever. So it looks like this is going to only be able to do text, which is understandable, because if it was doing the graphics and lines, how could it obviously can't do continuous smooth scrolling. You'd think it would be able to. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to research that a little bit more, and maybe we can adjust the step values so it can actually do that. Yeah, so there we go. That is how to get it working. If it won't work at all, you will need to perhaps reverse the axis, and don't forget to turn off reversal and enable limit when you try and exit this, otherwise it won't quit. And there we go. So yeah, look, there we go. That is the rotary rollers actually working correctly, and hopefully now we've got that working with a full reset of the software, we'll be able to get the rotary chuck working as well.